show you a film of what I'm going to talk about. Alright, so that was just, alright, so I know you're probably thinking that this is just like a typical another like marching band presentation, but the real terminology of this sport of the arts is called drum corps. So today I want to introduce to you the benefits of being a world-class performer. Not only does it take patience, but skill and passion to drive into this activity. I'm a drum corps performer myself, and I have been for the past 3 years. It's pretty, like, how it relates to you guys is probably once in your lifetime you've had a hobby that you've been like really passionate about, but have you ever asked yourself like how far you're willing to go with that hobby? So pretty much I'll be explaining and discussing the activity and how it quickly matures performers and impacts, and the impact it has on each individual. Oh my goodness, okay, sorry guys. So as I said before, the activity, the maturity, and the impact. So before I talk about the benefits of this activity, I would want to explain what the activity is, so what drum corps is. It's pretty much a musical marching unit and that consists of brass instruments, percussion instruments, and the color guard. And the rules of this organization is that you have to be 17 years of age, and the age limit, or the age out limit, is what they say, is 21. So in pretty much what it is just like an 8 to 12 minute show, and it just it's pretty much like a summer long activity, and it starts from December all the way to August. So from December to March, that's called spring training, and then starting from April all the way to August is when the summer tour begins. As said before, it's an 8 to 10 week summer tour, and depending on which corps you attend, it varies on the tour itself. So, so next I'd like to talk to you about how it quickly matures you, and it pretty much, you're pretty much on survival mode the entire summer. So whenever you go to like a housing site, like you don't have the best water pressure, you don't have pretty much like the best site. So I'd like to show you a picture of pretty much what the summer consists of. Oh, not this picture. Sorry, this would explain. This is pretty much what your summer looks like. You sleep on gym floors, you travel by bus, and yeah, you don't really have much. You just have your air mattress or sleeping bag, and just pretty much everything you need to go through the summer. So, like I said, there's young people come out to pretty much do what they love to do over the summer, and it's drumcorpsplanet.com said that 75% to % of students attended. 1,100 world-class corps students participated in the Project Persona research study and reported a grade point average of 3.0 in a high school or university level. In other words, drum corps pretty much disciplines you into becoming a better person and a hardworking individual. The values are dedication, discipline, commitment, achievement through teamwork that enhances the student's life. Aside from the music performance and life education that comes directly from participating, many studies indicate that performing arts students show higher levels of academic achievement in all disciplines than students who do not participate in performing arts. And I interviewed my friend that has been marching for the past 6 years, and she explained how it benefited her in the long run. She says, I've gained an incredible amount of self-discipline that is already affecting my work in school. After living on a bus for 2 months, I now really appreciate the little things in life. I realize that the things we take for granted can have an adverse effect on our relationships. My friendships have already prospered from this new outlook. For me, what I take from drum corps goes far beyond just the marching activity. So pretty much, she sums up what it is that, she's become a better student ever since she joined the drum corps, and that she's been working hard her entire life. She's a good job now. Next, I'd like to talk to you about an important person that has impacted many lives outside of the drum corps. His name is Scott Johnson. Scott Johnson marched in he marched in 1979, and he started out as an 18-year-old, and he performed with the corps from 1979 through 1989. And since he's an alumni performer, after he aged out, after the age of 21, he became a drumline instructor. So pretty much, he's been an innovator for other young performers. What Scojo's Lick of the Week is, since he's a drumline instructor, he posts videos online to pretty much it's like a tutorial about how to get better and how to improve. And because of this, he's impacted lives in Japan, Canada, Germany, the Netherlands, South Africa, and Indonesia. So now that you have a brief idea of what drum corps is, it's pretty much in all summary, it's like living your life on a bus and in gym floors for the entire summer long, and it just disciplines you to become a better person, a hardworking individual. This next slide pretty much sums up what I said. Character development, self-confidence, self-esteem, learning the value of teamwork, learning the value of commitment to purpose, responsibility, integrity, sacrifice, and just you get to meet new people, diverse backgrounds, and making new lifelong friends. So I hope that some of you, even though you're not musicians, you can even be a dancer or just have a passion for something. So I hope that what I've said, just continue your passion, and yeah, thanks.
What was the time?
9:15.
Andy, are you here? Not here, okay.
All right, Victoria, I think there are a couple of things that work pretty well and a couple of things that are a little problematic. You've got pretty good large images. You're talking about a subject that should be interesting. It's participatory. You've got firsthand experience on that. That should give you credibility. I don't think you get quite as much from your experience as you ought to. So you talk about living on the bus and sleeping on the floors and everything. That would be a great place for some personal stories, an interesting anecdote, an experience that would show us how tough it was to make that sacrifice. The quote from your friend I thought was fine. I think you could supplement it, for instance, with your own experience too, once again tying in your advantage here on this particular subject. There are some technical things that obviously needed to be fixed. For instance, you start the speech from back behind the demo station, and I didn't even realize that you were getting started, and then you go to the front. The video goes on a little bit long, so it's quite a long period of time at the beginning of the speech that we're not hearing from you, and that feels sort of awkward. You do identify the topic pretty clearly. You claim, well, you might think it's just another marching band, so I'm wondering, okay, are you going to distinguish between what the drum corps is and the marching band? What's different about them? I didn't get an explanation of that. For the first part of the speech, I didn't hear any source citations. About the middle of the speech, you did make a reference to one source citation, and in the last section, you're talking about the website that the drum corps instructor has, and so we got a little bit more information there. Plus, we had the interview that you did. So you did get some information into the speech from other places, but I think you needed a little bit more of that earlier on in the speech to add to the content that's going on there. There's a preview, but the preview is kind of vague, and I think that becomes a problem later on because the same sort of thing happens, and I'm looking at the organization. I can see that there are different sections, but it feels like a stream of consciousness sort of evolving of the subject rather than something that's been planned out a little bit more, and I think it needs to be more formalized as a consequence. That last section with the drum corps instructor's information, although it does contain some of the information and citation that you have in the presentation, the whole section feels like it's disconnected from everything else that you talked about. It's just an extra piece of information that doesn't really fit in with your theme there. I think you could have taken some of the information from that source, put it into some of the other sections, and just eliminated that as a separate section. The pictures are nice and large. I did appreciate the video as an attention device. I think it just needed to be shorter, and I think it needed to be introduced a little bit more. You just needed to figure out how to operate the mouse. I think you could have done exactly the same thing by left-clicking on the button up there as you were doing, walking back over continuously on the cursor. And because of the lack of practice on that, that makes it a little bit awkward. You're very dependent on your notes, which seems strange because you're speaking from experience. You know this subject. You should just be talking to us about it and not having to look at your notes the whole time that you're speaking. And in the last section, especially when you start highlighting all the stuff in the summary that you've got there, instead of just summarizing it for us on the screen and then talking to us, you're actually reading it from the screen, and that seems odd too. All right, thank you.